What's going on, guys? Ben here, and welcome to Mind Gym Chronicles, in which I go over with you my favorite sports psychology book, Mind Gym, written by Gary Mack. In Mind Gym, it's broken up into 4 parts. Part 1 is Welcome to the Inner Game. But before I get into that, let me give you guys a quick breakdown of what's going on with me in regards to my training. Yesterday was day 1 of my new 5-week block, in which I hit squat, bench, and push-ups. Push-ups was programmed, but I decided to add on to it and make it just slightly more challenging by doing wall planks into wall plank knee tucks, followed by the push-ups. So you should be seeing B-roll of that. And if you guys haven't tried that particular variation of knee tucks, I suggest that you do. Let's get back into my gym. So part 1 is Welcome to the Inner Game. Section 1 is Yogi was right. We're talking about Yogi Berra. So Yogi Berra, he had a saying, 90% of the game is half mental. And you might be saying, Ben, well, the math is off regarding that. Well, we're gonna get into it. So every high performer, whether it be Olympians, professional athletes, doctors, dentists, what have you, they know that once you reach a certain level of competency, the mental aspect of your performance is just as important as the physical aspect, if not greater. So everyone who's watching my team, my Ox team, I want you to think about this. Picture whatever task that you perform that is important to you, whether it be sports, you're on the basketball team, football team, weightlifting, bodybuilding, in your professional life, police officer, what have you. Think about your performance on your best day, how you were feeling physically, who was there around you, what you were wearing, the weather, what time of day it was. Think about that, breathe everything in, and try to relive that moment. All right, now let that fade away, and then now go into your worst performing moment, and think about pretty much the same thing. What you were feeling, were you feeling down? What was going on in your head? Did you encounter some type of adversary or task that you just couldn't mentally see yourself getting out of your way? And I'm going to give you guys a quick example of my worst task, because that actually came first. Well, my worst performance, and then I'm going to give you guys my strongest performance. So my worst performance was when, well, I have 2 actually. I have my worst performance in Taekwondo, and then I have my worst performance in physique competition. So my worst performance in Taekwondo was when I first got my black belt, and it was for my first match. I believe, obviously, if you know anything about Taekwondo, WTF. When you first get your black belt, you're a first degree, and I think I was going against a second degree. And this guy, he was wild. It didn't matter whether or not his opponent was throwing kicks or not. Being accurate wasn't part of his game. He just wanted to just throw as many strikes as possible, and hopefully something hits. So it was my first match, and I was fighting the match at his pace. I wasn't fighting it on mine. And then when it was time to break, I went to my coach, and my coach was like, Ben, what's wrong with you? You're bigger than this guy, run through him. So that's what I did. As soon as the match started, it didn't matter whether or not he was kicking, because he was always gonna kick first. I followed my instructions of my coach, my master, and I ran through that little motherfucker. Anyway, so I ended up out muscling him. I beat him out, but when we were scrapping, our legs collided, and during the break between that first match, which I won, and then my next match, the adrenaline went down and my shin was killing me. So going into that second match, I performed poorly. It was super hard to stand, and that was just like a really bad feeling for me, because when I went back, my master was like, Ben, like, what happened? It's like you didn't want to fight. But I went out there anyway, of course, because you don't want to let your coach down, your master down. And that was my worst. That was probably the worst I felt in comp. And then when I was at my best, it was when I performed at the New York State Championships. And this was when I was fighting for the University of Bridgeport. And it was right after a time in my life where, your boy was hurting. There was this female in college that, it didn't work out. And I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. All that summer, all I did was train. And I trained hard, and I put a lot of hours in. And I put a lot of sparring time in, way more than I did when I first got my black belt. So at that time, I was a second degree. I had a couple of more tournaments as a black belt under my belt, but it was the non-stop training, and everything was automatic. And when I went into that, so when I stepped onto the mat, it was a feeling of, it didn't matter what happened, I was gonna win, because of the amount of time I put in, and I knew what I was going to do regarding whatever type of strike my opponent would throw. So the game plan was simple: attempt to get the first point, and then after that, make him miss, make him pay, which was one of the sayings in my school. And then followed up. I'm older now. Now I'm doing the physique competitions. My first physique competition, it was the Battle at the Bay over in Corpus Christi, Texas. And this is advice I try to give everyone that is interested in doing physique competitions. You're going to want to hit the training hard. You're going to want to diet. You're going to want to try to look as impressive on stage as possible. But what trumps that, it's always going to be the posing. And that's not something that I knew going in. And I had someone that was helping me out, but he didn't emphasize that at all. And that's something that I noticed that a lot of coaches, they don't emphasize. Which it's a major part. And obviously I didn't feel as bad not getting first in that than I did during the Taekwondo competition. I got fifth, right? so I got fifth. Still so I got a medal, but whatever. But my first win, it was at the Texas Shredder over in Austin. That was when I got my first place, my first W. And I was posing a lot. I was posing hard. It was one of the competitions I came in the most full, but also the most conditioned. And because of the amount of hours I put into my posing, and once I step on stage, that shows mine. So I know that in regards to what affects me mentally, it's how much time I have to prepare. For me, it's all about reps, minutes, hours, days. And that's what gives me the mental capability in order to perform at my best. But that's something that I know that works for me. So for my ops team, this is something that you're going to want to think about. Think about your worst, think about you at your best, and think about what was the difference regarding both respective times. And that was the exercise for today. We're gonna get into it, guys. So stay tuned for section 2 of part 1 of Mind Gym. We're still gonna be talking about the inner game. Did you find this video informative? If you did, leave your comments below. Like, comment, share. It really helps the channel out regarding the algorithm. Until then, peace.